Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Alright, so check it out. We got some news tidbits to talk about. A bit of the rumor mill is spinning right about now, because apparently there's some, interesting, to say the least, news that just kind of popped out of nowhere, and I kind of want to go over it with you guys. Kind of, more importantly, if there was any video to do one of those little bullshit engagement things with when you guys talk in the comment section, this is one of those few videos in the recent memory that I'm actually going to probably look through the comment section, like read the comments thoroughly, because I am kind of curious as to see where the opinions lie on this matter. I mean, I know where they're kind of going to go towards the majority of them, but, you know, to kind of pick out one or two interesting comments would actually be kind of cool to see on this video. So, here, check it out real quick. I'll leave the article down in the description box below, as always. It sounds like Shane McMahon has talked to AEW wrestlers about joining Tony Khan's company. On a recent episode of the Grill and JR podcast, Jim Ross discussed with his co-host Conrad Thompson the possibility of Shane McMahon working in AEW and noted that it'd be a great idea. As you can imagine, their podcast received plenty of ridicule from wrestling fans about the notion of McMahon potentially joining AEW. In a follow-up conversation this week, however, Thompson threw a rumor out there, to explain why the idea is not crazy at all. And I quote, we're going to kick it off with Conrad, and then they're going to go back and forth with Jim Ross in this transcript. Conrad says, I saw a few fans, one in particular, who thought this was the most ridiculous thing he'd ever heard. And one guy in particular said, JR's fucking senile now. And I took issue with that. And I engaged a little bit with that. And there was a friend of ours, I'll say, I shouldn't say their name, but he went out of his way to text me and say, hey, that's not as crazy as you think. I know for sure that Shane McMahon has reached out to wrestlers on the AEW roster to at least hypothetically discuss the idea. Now, are we saying that's going to happen? No. But we are saying it's not that crazy of an idea. Jim Ross retorted back with, it could happen. Conrad says, it could happen, right? Jim says, to kind of further elaborate, yeah, oh, absolutely, it could happen. And now he could be utilized as a character on television. That's what I'm talking about, is viable. He's got a great name identity. People recognize him. Hell, I don't know. I would say it's a long shot, but I can't say that it's impossible, because it isn't. And he's a good guy. He still loves the business. He's a sensitive guy. He takes after his mother, and that's a good thing, because she's a nice lady. And goes on to kind of talk about other irrelevant bullshit things that, if you want to look up yourself, would be in the article as I suggested in the description box below. So let's go into this real quick with a little bit of a clear mind, open-minded. Let's be open-minded. Now, granted, first things first, let's talk about this. Is this ever going to happen? You know what? For any other superstar, I think I'd probably go out of my way to say that no, it's clear-cut not going to happen, or yes, it's clear-cut it could happen. But Shane McMahon is a little bit different, because Shane McMahon is a bit of a wild horse. You know, he kind of has that independent mind as far as how he thinks. And there is not I'm not suggesting that there isn't the possibility that he wouldn't go to AEW, but kind of like what this article said, I feel like I'm just kind of repeating what they're saying at the moment. But yeah, I can kind of see where they're going with this. I can kind of see where they're coming from by suggesting whether or not Shane could go to AEW. Now, obviously, is that in the cards right now? It doesn't look like it. I don't see how. But at the same time, the way they talk, it kind of feels like, you know where it kind of feels like the timeline kind of lies at? Now, it could have happened recently, but I wouldn't be surprised if this happened around the Royal Rumble 2022 time frame. You know, when Shane McMahon, what was it? Didn't he get himself fired or something like that? I think something happened in the Royal Rumble or something. I can't remember the story off the top of my head. As a matter of fact, let me look that article up real quick, and I'll let you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, boom, I found it. Cool. All right, so check it out. I'm going to leave this link down in the description box below. Although I did do a video on this. I swear I remember doing a video on this. There's no way I wouldn't have done a video on this. But regardless, though, I'll leave the link down in the description box. Just kind of give you guys a little bit of context as far as why I believe Shane McMahon would have left during this time. And, you know, it's kind of a fun thing that if you guys aren't aware of or you forgot, just to kind of bring up again. This is coming from an article dated back in February 2nd, 2022. Frustration coming out of the Royal Rumble has led to Shane McMahon's departure from WWE. Ringside News reported on Wednesday that the 52-year-old McMahon has been quietly let go from WWE and is no longer in the plans for the upcoming Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania 38, or upcoming episodes of WWE. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer confirmed that McMahon is out of WWE and is no longer booked for future shows. On Wrestling Observer Radio earlier, Meltzer said that there was a lot of heat on McMahon over this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. McMahon was the lead producer for the Men's Rumble and also appeared in the match as an in-ring talent. Meltzer said that McMahon had an idea of what the Rumble was going to be, and then a lot of that ended up being changed. Andrew Zarian of the Madman podcast reported that one issue of concern with the Royal Rumble was how rapper Bad Bunny was handled. Bad Bunny appeared in the match as a surprise entrant. There were numerous changes to what number Bad Bunny could be, Zarian tweeted. This was a cause for concern, and people within WWE were upset. WWE doesn't want to come off negatively with such a major outside star. McMahon was also a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. He entered at number 28 and made it the final 3 before being eliminated by Brock Lesnar. McMahon, who is the son of the WWE chairman and CEO Vince McMahon, has helped book the Royal Rumble in the past, but doesn't have a backstage or front office role with WWE. Saturday's Royal Rumble was the first time he's wrestled since last year's WrestleMania, before his departure from the company. McMahon had been scheduled for WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that year in February 19th in Saudi Arabia and April's WrestleMania 38. But it doesn't really tell, I can't remember exactly what happened as far as the details are considered, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a bit of the context as far as what that, by the way, it's over with. I'm just giving you guys a bit of a context that suggests that could have been the time frame as to when Shane was actually talking to AEW wrestlers to want to get himself into the company. So I'm just doing that for most people who probably think to themselves, oh, this is just them trying to start shit, oh, this is just a rumor, oh, this is not happening. No, there's a possibility that could have been the circumstances that was happening at the time, right? And I could probably picture it most likely happening also sometime after WrestleMania. Well, maybe not after WrestleMania last year because, maybe I wouldn't take it that far because TKO took over. So it's like one of those deals where Shane probably didn't have to do much. But it's not out of the cards is what I'm just trying to suggest for you guys. Now, when you hear something like that also, which is kind of doubled up a little tiny bit, as far as the positives of Shane McMahon, if he ever were to go to AEW, yes, obviously the name appeal would be so extreme. He probably would be maybe top 3 biggest names in that entire company off rip. And just as far as being one of the more recent signings, he'd be a breath of fresh air, right? Now, obviously, that'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. If for anything else, it'd be a shit ton of content for the channel. And like I said, as a wrestling fan, it would be interesting. I think anybody who says otherwise would just be lying to themselves and just doing the whole travelist mindset thing, right? You can't sit here and say like the first month or so wouldn't be interesting with Shane McMahon and AEW. Now, granted, it would tire itself out really, really fucking fast. Don't get it twisted. But for the first month, for the first couple of weeks, especially when that first night, if you were to show up, yeah, it'd be pretty fucking interesting. It'd be like the real life WCW, WWF invasion in 2021. I own WCW type of shit. You know what I'm trying to say? But in real life, although he doesn't own AEW, but he's working for the opposition. Now, why that will never fucking happen? Now, I'm saying it's not a possibility, and I'm saying it's a possibility as far as the mindset of Shane McMahon if he ever wants to go to the company. Why it will never happen, and why if Tony Khan ever did some stupid fucking shit like sign Shane McMahon to the company, he deserves everything he gets that comes with an obvious consequences of a situation like that. So first and foremost, just to kind of get like the least obvious things out of the way, the man's 54 years old. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? He's 6 years away from 60 years old. What are you doing with Shane McMahon in his mid-50s? Dude, it's like a decade away from AARP. Like, what the fuck are you doing? He's almost a senior citizen. What the fuck are you going to do with Shane McMahon in his fucking mid-50s? Not a goddamn thing. And obviously, you listen to this article right here and how Shane McMahon kind of thinks of himself. And I love Shane. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, if Shane has this kind of mindset of believing, "Rawr, I'm the big lion and I'm the one that needs to go over all these young talents and I have such great ideas." Well, you can't have that in your locker room, obviously. So that's one thing, obviously. The second thing is, like I said, with the name value perspective, I feel like with Tony Khan, he is so clouded by like the WWE draw, like any other wrestling company before him. No matter how much he wants to pretend that he's not on WWE's dick as much as he likes to pretend that they're on his dick, Tony Khan if you were to sign Shane McMahon, would be one of those situations. You think Sasha Banks and, CM Punk and all these people were overshadowing so many people when they first came into the company. You ain't seen nothing when Shane McMahon comes to the company, because in the end of the day, he just signed McMahon. You know what I mean? You can't get any more bigger bragging rights than signing your op's son, right? Signing your op's brother-in-law. Like, just signing your op in general, right? That's crazy when you actually think about it. And you gotta believe that whatever Shane is going to do within the company, whether it's a backstage situation or whether it's being on camera, Tony Khan is going to take that and he's going to run with it. He's going to make the most out of it, because like I said, it's no longer just having the talent within the company. You have a talent who you can rub in the faces of your opposition, right? You smoking on that WWE pack with Shane McMahon on your roster is essentially what the message you want to send out there. And it sounds titillating to when they do that, but we come to the third biggest concern, and obviously the biggest fucking red flag. And again, this just makes everything seem like if Tony Khan were to do something like this, like, motherfucker, if you were to go out of business, you fucking deserve it for this dumb dick decision. He's, wait for it, man. So you think that you're actually grabbing an op in order to brag about to your ops, but what you don't realize is that what you're actually doing is bringing in an informant. Motherfucker, you don't think Shane McMahon has dinners with his father, with his brother-in-law, are you out of your fucking mind? If you were, and that here's the thing, people are going to probably be like, well, Devontae, don't you understand that there are some WWE talents who went to AEW? You don't think they're doing the exact same thing? No, I actually do not think they're doing the exact same thing. And if they're doing it, it won't be to the degree of Shane McMahon, a former executive within the company, a guy who worked backstage with his father, the guy who helped build his father's business, not help in the sense of like, putting in the groundwork, but help in the sense of like helping to go global with his character, taking some trades within the company. You think this man is going to outright backstab his dad in order to make your company look good, Tony? Now, obviously, once again, let me just repeat myself. This is all speculation from Jim Ross, but I gotta believe that Tony Khan wasn't stupid enough to actually sit there and contemplate whether or not he wanted to take Shane McMahon, right? I gotta actually believe that there's some semblance of like common sense within this Chia Pet motherfucker's head to actually believe that he didn't even think about this and he just dismissed the shit outright. And that for any wrestler who actually brought to Tony Khan's attention that, hey, Shane McMahon thought it would probably be cool if we can have a discussion or two as to whether or not I could join the wrestling company, makes me think that that wrestler, most likely someone along the lines of maybe Bryan Danielson or Chris Jericho, who I know are pretty good friends with Shane McMahon, it makes me believe whether or not are they ops to even think to themselves that makes even a bit of fucking damn sense to think that you can take Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon's son, and bring him underneath the AEW umbrella and believing to yourself that, hey, this makes all the sense in the world. Or maybe even Jim Ross, who's also good friends with Shane McMahon. That sounds like a self-sabotage. That sounds like someone who doesn't want to see you actually succeed. That sounds like someone who wants to put the green light on your head, boy. Yo, Tony, anybody who asks you that fucking question, you should be vetting right about now, my boy. You should be looking at them sideways. You should be taking what they're saying with a grain of salt. You should be looking at them and saying that, hey, man, I got my corner eye on you and I ain't taking that son of a bitch off of you. Because if you're willing to make a proposal like this for something that can obviously lead to my demise, then what the fuck else are you plotting on right now, right? Obviously, common sense will say that if a commentator from a dumbass YouTube channel could think about this in the first couple of seconds, then obviously a professional wrestler who's been there for a couple of years and seen all the ins and outs of the business know that whatever he's proposing doesn't seem like it's clean cut. But like I said, this is all just a rumor in the end of the day. Like I said, the articles are down if you want to corroborate them for yourselves. I do find it interesting though that Shane McMahon actually thought to himself that, hey, maybe I can go to AEW and make a difference. I can only believe that Shane McMahon has maybe the best intentions if you think about all the stuff that he tried to do outside of WWE when he was gone for those few couple of years, and then he comes back and then he goes again, and he's trying to make his own way. He's trying to cut his own path, right? He doesn't want to be underneath his dad's shadow, which is going to be impossible because your dad is Vince McMahon and he's now more infamous than he is famous. But it's definitely very interesting. I would definitely at least say that. If for nothing else, whether or not how you feel about the idea of Shane McMahon ever joining AEW, you can have whatever perspective you want to have on the subject. But at the very least, you can at least say objectively that it is interesting. And to be quite frank, I wouldn't mind seeing it. If for nothing else, like I said, it would just be something that would be so fucking surreal. I don't think anything in professional wrestling would ever top it unless something really, really, really horribly tragic, knock on wood, ever happens. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Oh, Devontae, why are you talking like this? This will never happen. Devontae, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking clown. You're taking rumors and you're pretending as if they're actually validated. Oh boy, I won't, and I refuse to engage with Nimrods like this. I refuse to engage with people whose pacifiers happen to be their dad's dick. I get it. You're traumatized, and some of those memories, they're trapped inside your mind, they're trapped inside your head, and you're suppressing the fuck out of it. And everything and anything that happens to be any semblance of just a little bit of thought-provoking, maybe a bit of common sense that actually correlates with that thought-provoking stuff that you're thinking in your mind, it's not gonna make its way towards your prefrontal cortex, and you're not gonna be able to express that. I get that, but can you please just go be stupid somewhere else? Like, just go, be stupid somewhere else, bro. It's okay, you can unsub if you want to, that's fine. But for the rest of you guys out there, engage with the thought and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I said that twice already. That means I gotta get the fuck up out of here because I'm still rambling right now. I'm getting the fuck up out of here, don't worry. I'll be back later on tonight with the viewership numbers between AEW and NXT. With that being said, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P. Eyes.